Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is P. Gitiposan from Salah. You can call me P. I'm overseas volunteer from Thailand. And today I'm my lecturer today. So today my topic is unheard of self-trust. Firstly, I want to explain for you first why we have to learn my lecture. In our life is full of problems and difficulties. That is why we require a good heart, a strong heart for overcome any situation, and we can achieve it through my lecture. So do you know what is this? This is called blueprint. Blueprint is this equipment used for making house. Before you want to make some buildings or house, you have to have a blueprint. If you have a good blueprint, you will have a good house or good building. In our mind, it's same. If we have a good blueprint, in our life can be successful, happy, and strong, and have happiness. So about our topic today, many people we want to trust in ourselves. When we listen some positive speech, you have to trust in yourself, or you have to motivate yourself, grow your heart, and go. You can do it. But truly, is it the truth or not? So we can look at some history in this world. So today I want to talk about Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, he is the leader of Nazis. And in Germany, during the war, Hitler ordered to Nazi to kill many people, including kids and women. The Nazi killed around 6 million Jews. So, why the Jews were killed? There was hatred and persecution of Jews, anti-Semitism. And in Hitler, he had his thought that the Jews become rich by stealing money from people. And in his thought, he believed the Jews were the cause of Germany's economical problems. So when he believed in his thought, he is right. His thought is the truth. And he told to the Nazi soldier, kill many people. So at that time, the Jews died around 6 million people. And around 5 million people were caught, and they have to become slave, or they have to become a prisoner, and also sexual. At that time, they were suffering because the thought of the Hitler, he thought this is the right thought, but by his right thought, by his self-trust, to the end, it's so effective, it's so very scary. And first, I want to talk about the level of water and mind. In our life, we use water in every day, right? We use for take a shower, toilet, drinking, cleaning. Every day we use water, and also in the water have different type of water. So I want to explain about 5 levels of the water. Start from 5. The serious polluted water, no fish can live. This water is no any life can live in this water. It cannot use, it cannot drink, and it smells so bad. And level 4 to be fixed and multicellular. And what about level 3? A crab and a catfish. Level 2, a sweet fish, mosquito larva. And the first, the clean water, a trout and a crawfish can live. So I want to telling about some story. Have you ever have a goldfish? When I have a goldfish, I take care very well, I rest very well, but it always dies. At that time, I don't know why. But when I research some information, now I can know. Because when we wash the container, we put the pipe of water mixed with the pure water. At that time, if the water clean, the fish can live. It's also, if you bring the level 1 to level 4, it will die. Or you bring level 4 to level 1, it also will die. And that is different in the price of the water according to level of the water. People spend millions of dollars for pure water, for drinking, for water system, and many things. And in this world, there will be a water war. In Brazil, 70% use water for electricity. That time, Amazon River will be dying. It's emergency situation because lacking of water. So it's not affect just only water, but it's affect to the jungle and the animal in the jungle, and especially it's affect to electricity power in Brazil. And we have 5 levels of water, and also we have 5 levels of mind. I start from 5, the abnormal mindset. This is a big main point of addiction for game, gambling, drug, and especially nowadays people, phone addiction. When we go outside, we can see many people don't see the ways and just pin something and go very quickly and don't care any person around them. This is the big addiction nowadays. And I go to the level 4. Mindset to follow fleshly and desire. It have 3 main desires: for eating, for sexual, for sleep. And what about third mindset? It's normal mindset. Faithful, loyal, and reality. And level 2, mindset to go over the limit and challenge. When you go over your limit and challenge, you can have a successful life. And what about level 1? What is the best mindset? The best mindset is successful and happiness. So when we compare with level 1 and level 2, we can see level 1 have just only successful, but in level 1 is have happiness also. So when we go to the supermarket, we can see many types of water, right? We can see guava water, orange water, mineral water, normal water. So it's have different type of water, and we can see people demand for a good qualities of water, but people didn't demand for the world of the mindset. And today I want to talk about 5 levels of mind, abnormal mindset. Similarity of the people who are addicted to game, gambling, drug, is that they have the hurt to trust in themselves. And more scary things than game, gambling, and drugs is the hurt to trusting in yourself. And this is level mindset of game. I was playing game and 1 month passed by so quickly. In this thought of people game addiction, they thought, just one game, it's just normal. But the time is passed really quickly by unconsciousness. And level mindset of gambling. Just with 2 coins, I can turn my life. So it's have one story of one man who was gambling addiction. He always went to the gambling place for play the gambling, and every time he always went to there. And one day he decided hard, I have to stop. And how I can stop? Oh, I know. I have to cut my hand. And at that time, that guy, he cut his hand. And 1 month passed, he lived happy with his wife. 2 months, 3 months. But one day, he disappeared. Why? And the wife thought, where is my husband? And in her thought, I smell something fishy. I have to find him. And she went to the gambling place. And at that time, she's so shocking because she see her husband paid by the toes. Just with 2 coins, I can turn my life. And the level of mindset dropped. If I decide to quit, I can quit. This is a thought of the people drug addiction. Just I try one time. If I decide my heart to quit, I can quit. But to the end, they became very addiction. They want too much. They want more. And to the end, their life is failed because trusting in themselves, they can decide in their heart to quit. But to the end, they cannot quit. Summarize about the level of water and level of mind. All of addiction start from the heart, trusting in yourself. Actually, the important things that you have to know, where is your heart? And I have one true story about one man who believed in his thought. He was right and he was true. But to the end, what happened in his life? So today, this story is called I Paid for the Taxi. It's how one night of one middle-aged man. He have a big night of drinking. And at that time, he was drunk. And he took the taxi, but he could remember where he was staying. And he told to the taxi driver, at that time, he just fell asleep on the back seat. And after he arrived in his home, the taxi driver told him, sir, we are live here, and time to get out, and you have to pay the fare now. And the man said, I've already paid. I always take the taxi to my house, and I know how much. And now you have to return the fare right now. And it has no ways to tell who was right. And after long agreement, they went to the police station. And the taxi driver told about this situation to the police officer. And the police officer told to the man, you have to pay the fare and go back home. At that time, the man, he just said, why you don't believe the truth? I already paid. And why should I have to pay again? You have to believe the truth. Why you took aside just only taxi driver? And the police says, we have no ways to solve this problem. And this is the true ways. And at that time, the man saw, he started to screaming, and he threw the feet, and he slammed the table. And he said, you are not police. Why I have to pay again? But you don't believe the truth. Why? At that time, the police tried to come, and the man continued screaming, shouting, and he slammed the table and rebuking to the police, to the taxi driver, and he kicked the table. At that time, the police cannot handle his call, and the police arrested the man and put him into the jail for 3 days. At that time, when the man in the jail, he thought, this is a taxi fault. Why I have to stay in jail? And why the police just only took the side on the taxi driver and don't listen to me. And after he was released, he went to a gas station and he bought a container of a gasoline. After he bought and bring the gasoline container, he stood in front of the police station and he shouting, come out the police, come and apologize to me. At that time, it's like the police continue their working like didn't have him at all. So at that time, the man poured his body, all of the gasoline, all of his body, and he pulled out the lid, and he's shouting again, if you don't come, I will list myself on the fire. And maybe the police didn't listen or didn't hear him. No, it's no reaction at all. At that time, this man was very angry and he lit his body on fire. Immediately, his body was in flame and whole his body was burned and he was hospitalized. And when he in the hospital, it's very painful to treat the burns and the hospital bills is very terrible high. And at that time he couldn't pay it and he was released from the hospital. And he had to back to his home and he lied on his bed. Slowly, day by day passed. One day, one person came to the man's house and told him, is it true you paid to the taxi driver and the taxi driver is a terrible person, but what you have done is also terrible. And at that time, the man said, what did I do wrong? He still believed in his door. He was right. He was right. And that one person came to his house. He said, yes, this is true. But have you ever think about just this issue? You make a terrible things. Have you ever think about your parent heart? How much they painful to see you become like this? Or have you ever think about your wife? No husband and she have to become leader for guide out their families. And what about their children? Have you ever think? At that time, the more the man he can later realize that he did such a terrible things. It was causing a lot of sadness and pain to his family. So this story wants to tell us about this guy. He believed in his thought. He was right. He already paid. And he just moved his point just a little. He can change his life. But he just believed in his thought, I'm right. And he lit himself on the fire. To the end, whole of his body was burned. He cannot do anything. And its effect to his family. This is can show about this story. This story want to show us, these guys want to show just only show off he was right. But for the effect, he cannot change his life back again. And summarize for today, all of the bad things start from the heart, trusting in themselves. Actually, the important things for you is to know where is your heart. Like I explained for you about the 5 levels of mind. You have to know where is your heart. And you have to realize the bad result before you do some things. Many stories can show us about what bad results is starting from trusting in themselves. And like the story I made for the taxi or the Hitler, so many effects is very terrible things. And remember, the most important thing is don't trust in yourself. When you can realize that, life can achieve successful and happiness. So I'm really thankful for today I'm glad to see you on live and thank you for joining with us today. And I hope you can adapt for my lecture and adapt for your life and share to your friends, your family, and we can change our mindset and overcome every difficulties and life will be happy and successful. Thank you for today. Thank you so much.